So hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now that's right, today I'm already back with another episode of my new series, Tier Rankings. These are just fun for me. I can find them on the internet and hey, there's a nice list of characters here for us to go over. So something that was suggested to me was Doctor Who villains, and I really wanted to do that, but the only tier list on here for Doctor Who villains wasn't very good. There was like, whoever made it had done a poor job at copying and pasting on pictures of characters like 5 times. There were like 5 Jadoons on there, and then and it was literally the same picture. It wasn't like different Jadoons, it was all the same, and then there was like 6 Daleks X and stuff like that. So I didn't really want to do that because it looked very messy. But I did want to do a Doctor Who one. I thought it'd be fun because I think after Star Wars, Doctor Who is like the one of the big things here I talk about on the channel consistently. It's one of my favourite things. So I thought I would go over, as you can see here, the Doctors themselves. So something interesting here is that I need to say is that me with Doctor Who, you know, I started watching with Christopher Eccleston. He was my first Doctor. I watched Rose when it aired live, so I've been watching from the word go with Modern Who. And then with Classic Who, I've gone back and watched the season box sets. And I've seen the few episodes here and there. Like, I've seen the 5 Doctors, the 10th Planet, and I've seen a few of them. So when it comes to the older Doctors, I think you'll need to be a bit more patient with me because I don't know as much. I'm literally going off what I've seen here. But luckily for me, it starts off with the modern Doctors, goes through a lot of old ones, and then ends on some more modern ones again. So let's get started. So first up is David Tennant, and David Tennant is, of course, let me grab him, here he is. He's going straight to the top there. I know that, like, a lot of classic fans don't really like the modern Doctors as much, and they don't like modern Doctor Who in general very much. Some, not all. And I think people don't love David Tennant because he is a bit more of a romantic Doctor and he makes a lot of new characteristics for the character. But I think for me, he works the best as a leading character. I think for me, he's my personal favourite Doctor. Not because, I mean, technically he wasn't my first, but he was when I was younger. I spent the most time with him as the Doctor. So there is a bit of bias in me, I will admit. I think the reason why I personally love watching David Tennant is because he is just a great leading actor, great character. The traits of this Doctor, I think, lead the show the best. He's the best protagonist of the bunch. He's the most heroic. And he also, at times, can be the most human. So I think he works really well there of the modern ones. So yeah, David's going there. Next up, we got Mr. Matt Smith. I think I'm going to put Matt... I think I'm going to put him as a B. B's, you know, I still really, really love Matt Smith. I think he's really fantastic. I was saying this, I think, no, I am going to move him up to an A. I'm going to move him up to an A. Couldn't really make my mind up on him there. I don't think he's quite to the level of David Tennant. And I think I do have a few issues with Matt's Doctor. I think at times he can be a little bit too childish for my liking. But I love the fact that his Doctor is kind of this one that's trying to forget the past a bit, and he's, you know, he's trying to create a new persona for himself, and it comes across really interesting, I think. And Matt Smith is a fantastic actor, and he has some fantastic episodes. And yeah, there are things about his character which I absolutely love. I love how much he cares about his companions. For example, when Amy and Rory go, it's you really see some great development now with his Doctor. And also, he has one of the best costumes, in my opinion. I think he really, really cool. Next up, we have Capaldi, who I'm also going to put as an A. Because I just love Capaldi. I think Capaldi, unfortunately, suffers from having a lot of weak episodes. But if you look at his character, his Doctor, out of the modern ones, is the one that's grown the most, I think. Christopher didn't really have time. Jodie really just hasn't changed too much over her 2 seasons so far. But David and Matt, they both developed a lot. But I think Capaldi developed even more. He went from being quite grumpy to being a lot more light-hearted. Was this intentional? I don't think it was intentional by the writers. Because I think it was more, okay, people are not connecting with this Doctor super well. We need to change him up. But they did it in a really good way, where the character of Clara, who I wasn't a huge fan of, but she sort of changed his Doctor. And I think it works really well throughout his run. And Capaldi is just such a fantastic actor. I love watching him. Okay, next up is Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker, I'm going to put... Do I put as an E or an F? I'm going to put her as an F. Yeah, I don't think her Doctor's very good at all. Why? Because, like, 80% of her character is copycatted from Smith and especially Tennant. She also takes a couple characteristics from Eccleston and Capaldi. And I know that the Doctors are meant to sort of carry on that character. There's meant to be little traits of all of them in each other because they are the same person, sort of. But here there's too much copycatting going on. I hate the cringy fan jokes and her just playing dumb for the sake of it. Like, Matt was being a child. He was running away. He was still incredibly intelligent. He always knew what was going on. Jodie never seems to know what's going on. She's just playing dumb. And it's such a shame because she's the first female Doctor and I really want to like her. I really want the first female Doctor to be really good. I was fully on board with the idea of the Doctor being female. I wasn't one of these people who was up in arms about it. I was like, no, I'm fully prepared to watch this, to give it a go. But unfortunately, her Doctor has just not been interesting at all. So, okay, next up. This is where things are going to get interesting for me because Doctors 1 and 2 especially, I really don't know that much about. So you're going to have to be... I think the best way I could describe it is, you know, of course, this is my opinion. And I have not seen much with the first and second Doctor in. So bear with me. The first Doctor, I'm going to put as a C. I think, you know, he's the one that started it. So you've got to give him a bit of leeway. He didn't have anything else to go on. He had to create this character. William Hartnell had to embody this brand new character, which is what he was at the time. Saying that, he's fantastic. I like going back and watching him. I've only seen 3 episodes or so with him in, or 3 stories. But one of my favourites is still The 10th Planet. I love that episode. I thought it was great. And one of the things which I really love about his Doctor is that he's unique now. He's this grumpy, old, strict, stern man. And yeah, I just really enjoy going back to him. And also, you know, I really liked his appearance in Twice Upon a Time. Next up, Mr. Patrick Troughton. Patrick Troughton, I'm tempted to put as an A, and I think when I see more episodes, he will be an A, but I'm going to put him as a B for now. I really, really love Patrick Troughton. I think he's great. Again, it's just one of those things where I haven't seen loads of episodes from him, but I think when I've seen more, he'll definitely be in the A section, no doubts about it. He's very much the Matt Smith of the older Doctors. I think he's got a little bit of a childish persona about him. He also wears the bow tie. He talks about playing a flute. He's a bit silly. He's got a funny haircut. And for that reason, he's just very lovable as the Doctor, I think. He was the first Doctor that sort of took on that kind of quirky side. He was no longer just this stricter older guy who was showing people about in the galaxy. He was now a kind of quirky, bumbling, fun hero. So he, for me, really was he was the first one to take on the Doctor role that we know now. Not to take anything away from Mr. William Hartnell. Next up is Jon Pertwee. Jon Pertwee I'm going to put as an A. I actually used to watch Jon Pertwee as the Doctor when I was younger. When I was really young, like before Eccleston took on the role, before the show got revived, I would see episodes of Jon Pertwee on in the background when I was younger. Mainly because my family used to love Jon Pertwee. It used to be either classic Doctor Who or Wurzel Gummidge on a lot of the time around my nan. So I've become very fond of watching Jon Pertwee. And with the season 10 classic Doctor Who series released, I've managed to dive through that. I'd already seen a couple episodes of his, like Inferno as well. And I just love his Doctor. I love his outfits. I love that he's a bit more action hero. And I think he's just a lot more interesting to me how he's very straight to the point when he's talking to people. I find him really fascinating, and he doesn't mind telling people when they're being a bit stupid. But he still has that quirky side to him. And I really, really enjoy Jon Pertwee's Doctor. Next up is Mr. Tom Baker. Now, Mr. Tom Baker, of course, has to go to an S. He is... I think deep down my favourite of the classic Doctors is John Pertwee, because I just enjoy watching John Pertwee more. He's just a personal favourite of mine. But in terms of symbolising the character of the Doctor, Tom Baker is the Doctor. He is the guy who, to me, when I think of all of the Doctor's traits, they all come from Tom Baker's Doctor. I know that the Doctor does change his personality, of course, but when I think of which one is most doctory, which one is the most symbolises this character the best, I do believe it to be Tom Baker. He has the quirky, weird and controlling sense that the character should always have. And he slips into the childish persona of every now and then, only when he feels he can, and when he needs to take control he does, and that's what makes his character so good. He's got a very good balance. Next up is Peter Davison. Peter Davison, I'm going to put see, I think he will become a C for me, but I kind of want to put Peter Davison as a D at the minute. Again, I've only seen season 19, sorry, of his, and the episode The Five Doctors, which is at the end of season 20, I think. It was the 25th anniversary special. So I really haven't seen much of Peter Davison, but to me, he's kind of very one-dimensional. His character seems very straightforward, and again, I'm sure I'm going to upset some people here. There are people that are going to grown up with this Doctor who are going to love him, and I do apologise for that. This is just me going off what I've seen so far. His Doctor he doesn't really have, like I said for Tom Baker, he had a great balance. I think for Peter Davison, he doesn't really have a great balance. He has more of he plays the role in one sort of dimensional take, and it's not a bad take on the character. You know, if it was bad, I would have put him as an E or an F, but it can be a bit boring, I think, especially when I watch The Five Doctors. Like, all of the other Doctors were a lot more interesting to me. Even William Hartnell's one, who was this kind of strict, stern old man. There was just a lot more character to him. And yeah, so I think Pete Davison ends up there. Next up is Colin Baker. Colin Baker I'm going to put straight as an F. I just don't like his Doctor much. Again, I have only seen the season 23 set and the two Doctors, the one with him and Patrick Troughton against the Sontaran. So I haven't really seen loads of him. Number one, I just really don't like his outfit for a start. It's just so off-putting to me from the word go. It's like, I can't take him seriously. I can't. His acting is very over the top, and he's very unlikable at times, the way he talks to his assistants and stuff. Example, the very first words out of his mouth when his assistant goes, "Do you know?" She goes, "Doctor?" And he's like, "Was you expecting someone else, my dear?" Or something like that. It's very cocky and comes across very unlikable a lot of the time. So unfortunately, Colin Baker's there. It's a shame because he's such a nice bloke in real life. But hey, just unfortunately not really a fan of his Doctor. Then we've got Sylvester McCoy. Sylvester McCoy, I think he sort of falls under the Peter Capaldi classic Doctor range, where there's a fantastic Doctor there. He just unfortunately suffers from a lot of bad writing. For that reason, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to put him as a... no, I'm going to put him as a C. He's not on the level of Patrick Troughton, I don't quite think. But there's a very good Doctor in Sylvester McCoy. And again, I've only seen a couple episodes of his from his first two seasons. Of course, we will be getting season 24 on Blu-ray soon, so I'll be able to dig through all of that. Even though I hear it's not a great season, but we'll see. I did, of course, get season 26, and I have watched all of that, and that was a really good time. And again, while the stories are not fantastic, and they're not, you know, you can tell that there's big issues with them, it's never down to him. He pulls off a really good Doctor. He is very much a throwback to Patrick Troughton, you know, kind of funny Doctor. He stumbles about a lot, and he has a lot of funny lines. The whole hat thing and stuff, and walking around with the cane's a bit cheesy. He sort of fits into that Patrick Troughton, Matt Smith kind of vibe of Doctor. But yeah, I really like him. He's just fun to watch. He's always a pleasant time when he's on the screen. Next up, we have Mr. Paul McGann. Now, Paul McGann, I am going to put as a B Doctor. Yeah, this is a bit harder to do because, you he's only got a movie. And of course, I forget the name of the episode. Was it Night of the Doctor? The short episode that aired before the 50th episode? I don't think it aired before, sorry. I think you had to go online to see it or something like that. I can't remember. It seems like the 50th was so long ago now. But Paul McGann is a fantastic Doctor. And again, I haven't listened to many, but I've listened to a few Big Finish audiobooks, and he's great in those. The movie, while I'm not a huge fan of the movie, he is by far the best thing about it. And The Night of the Doctor, the mini episode, apologies if I'm getting the name wrong. Is it Night? I think it might be. He's fantastic in that. He really, really is. He's got a lot of great characteristics that embody the Doctor. And I think he definitely fits more into the modern range than the classic range. He definitely has a lot more characteristics of what a modern Doctor would be, I think. So, yeah. Paul McGann I'm going to put as a B. I think he's really good. Christopher Eccleston I'm going to put as an A. It is such a shame that we only got one season with Christopher Eccleston, because that one season he did was absolutely fantastic. He brought fans back to the show. I think that classic fans are actually very happy with his Doctor. I think it's David and Matt's Doctor where a lot of the real classic diehard fans seem to fall out a bit with this show. I think Eccleston was great at bringing in a modern audience and also connecting the old audience back. It's really interesting that he shows a lot of great human characteristics in it. He brings the character of the Doctor to life in a way that's never been done before. And again, he just symbolises his character. He's got a weird, quirky side, you know, just walks into Rose's house in the first episode, just throws cards everywhere. He's got the great characteristics that the character should have. So yeah, Christopher Eccleston, going to go as an A. Then we have Mr. John Hurt, the late great. I'm going to put him, I think, as a D. I love John Hurt. I really liked his Doctor, the War Doctor. I really liked him. But again, very same as Peter Davison. He is a one-dimensional Doctor. And that's not necessarily the writer's fault, because they only had the 50th episode to do this, to work on his character. And I haven't listened to any big finishes with him in. And the problem with the 50th is it's juggling two other Doctors as well. So he had to share the screen time, which gave us even less time to explore this new incarnation. So, I really feel like if we'd got more with him, I don't know when that would come or where it would fit in, if it'd be a spin-off show or something, but if we had ever got more with John Hurt's Doctor, I do believe he would have easily got to a C and potentially even a B character. But just for what we got, unfortunately, he does have to fall lower down the list. And I feel a bit bad for doing this on this Doctor, but I think a D is where he belongs. And then we have, I'm not going to lie, I barely remember this guy down here. I did the Rain Guard or something like that from Colin Baker episodes. I'm pretty sure that's who he is. I could be wrong. But we got the Roof Doctor. The Roof Doctor is just going to go straight as an F as well. Just purely because I hated what they done in the Timeless Child episode. I don't like that there's Doctors before William Hartnell. And I know, again, there's a couple people who persist on commenting on my Doctor Who videos when I talk about this and try and tell me why I'm wrong and stuff. And you know what? I don't care. It's just my opinion. I don't like that story choice because it didn't affect the Doctor's character in any way. When people say there's always been Doctors before because of those four faces you saw in Tom Baker, it's like, no, there hasn't. No one said that they were from before. No one said this. They were just teased. They were just there. So I didn't like this story choice. And Ruth's Doctor just hasn't shown up enough for me to care about her. She's shown up in 2 episodes, one of which I'm not even sure it was her, because The Timeless Child, was that her, or was that just the Doctor having a weird vision? In The Fugitive of the June, I think that's what the episode's called in season 12, when we actually see her properly. She's only the Doctor for the last 10 minutes of the episode, and she doesn't really do much. She has a cool TARDIS. I love her outfit. Great actress. But this isn't enough in terms of character to make me like or care about her. So at the minute, she's gonna sit down there as an F. Again, if we see her more, she could go up the list. I really do think. I think there's a better Doctor there than, unfortunately, the one we currently have. So yeah, this guy, I feel bad here because I know some people are going to be upset that I don't really remember this guy. I have seen episodes with him, and of course I've seen season 23. I just really don't remember much of it because I wasn't a big fan of season 23. And I think the fact that I can't really remember him shows that he belongs down the bottom. So for now, I'm just going to have to put him as an F because I really don't remember him. And that's all I can say on him. And I know people are probably going to get mad at me for that one. How can you do this list without not knowing him? Blah, 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 blah. But hey, I've done the list for fun for you guys. And there we go. So no Doctors ended up in the E section. So I think it ranges from my favourites. You know, I will admit there is biasness towards David. Tom Baker's fantastic. The A section Doctors are more or less on the same level for me. I absolutely love them. But obviously I just had to separate them for the sake of this list. The A Doctors are also absolutely fantastic. The B Doctors I really love as well. They're ones which I think when I see more of them, Patrick Troughton, they'll be bumped up to A's. Paul McGann, hopefully more content gets made for him. C Doctors, you know, just got to respect them. They're always a pleasant time. D Doctors, they're the okay ones for me. And then E, you know, obviously none fit in there. F, they're Doctors I just genuinely don't really like or connect with. So, yeah. And I'm sorry to the real modern fans who love Jodie. I apologise. This is just my opinion. Just personally haven't connected with her. But anyway, there we go. That's that video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, these tier rankings are fun. But make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.